DW Africa Link.
Rivers State, a vital economic hub in Nigeria, is currently grappling with severe political tensions. The recent emergency declaration by President Bola Tinubu has raised crucial questions. Is this a necessary step to restore stability or a politically charged decision that could intensify the crisis? More importantly, what are the implications for the people, businesses, and governance in the state? In this episode, we delve into the reasons behind the emergency declaration, the legal and political implications, and how this could reshape power dynamics in rivers and across Nigeria. Stay tuned for this urgent discussion. My name is Josey Mahachi. Welcome to Africa Link, the podcast that connects you to the stories that matter from Africa.
Africa Link, every weekday here on DW.
Nigeria's President Bola Tinubu declared a 6-month state of emergency in Rivers State, suspending Governor Siminalayi Fubara, his deputy, and state lawmakers. This action follows recent pipeline explosions and political instability in the region. Tinubu appointed retired Vice Admiral Ekwe Ibas as the interim administrator to restore order. Before I unveil my guest, who is going to break it down for us, let me play this clip of an angry Tinubu using his powers to suspend the governor.
It has become inevitably compelling for me to invoke the provision of the Section 305 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended, to declare a state of emergency in Rivers State with effect from today. It is public knowledge that the governor of Rivers State, for unjustifiable reasons, demolished the House of Assembly of the state as far back as 13th December 2023, and as up to now, 14 months after, no rebuild the same. I have made personal interventions between the contending parties for a peaceful resolution of this crisis, but my efforts have been largely ignored by the parties to the crisis. The latest security report made available to me show that between yesterday and today, there have been disturbing incidents of vandalization of pipelines by some militants without governor taking any action to curtail them. I have, of course, given stand order to the security agencies to ensure safety of lives of good people of Rivers State and the oil pipelines. By this declaration, the governor of Rivers State, Mr. Siminalayi Fubara, his deputy, Mrs. Ngozi Odu, and all elected members of the House of Assembly State are hereby suspended for an initial period of 6 months. In the meantime, I hereby nominate Vice Admiral Ekwe Ibas, retired, as administrator to take charge of the affairs of the state in the interest of the good people of Rivers State.
Okay, you've heard him make that declaration, which has sparked national debate, with critics questioning its impact on democracy. Now, joining me to discuss this further is Nigeria's former Minister of Transport and former Governor of Rivers State, Rotimi Chibuike Amaechi. Governor, thank you so much and welcome. But we see that you were born in Rivers State and your state seemed to be burning. What's happening in Rivers State?
What's happening in Rivers State? I don't know how to answer that question. And I tell you honestly, in the sense that is the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and his minister for FCT. They are fighting the people of Rivers State. Okay, so the fight between the former governor of Rivers State and the FCT minister and the current governor is about sharing money. If not, what's the problem? Nigerians don't dislike corruption again, because I've not seen anybody on the street shouting about what is the problem. Can both of them speak to the public and tell us what the problem is about? And then we are now denied democracy. So the Rivers State is the only state in the country that can practice democracy. they've imposed a military rule on us. Secondly, is the fact that the president acted outside the constitution. Section 351, did he rely on? Did not say that the president can remove anybody. Section 188 states how a governor can leave office, either by death or by resignation or by impeachment. It didn't say that one day you wake up and one man called the president of Nigeria will just wake up and throw you out of office. It makes democracy unstable. So that's what's going on in Rivers State.
Right. And who do you suspect has a hand in all this?
The president.
What about the FCT minister? Where does
both of them? Why I say the president is that? What I say is the president that the FCT minister is the staff of the president. It's between the president and the FCT minister. One, the president wants a power grab. They want to frighten governors who may likely not support them for 2027. And so the rumor is everywhere. If you're not careful, the president will remove you. If you're not careful, the president will remove you. So this is all about sharing money and 2027 politics.
But the president cited political instability and a crisis in the state as the reason for this move. I know already you feel like that's not true, but do you believe this justifies the declaration of a state of emergency?
No. What is stability? Tell me what is stability in Rivers State. Is it between the governor and the former governor or the FCT minister? Or is
that's exactly what we need. That's exactly what we need to know from you. You know what is happening in the background. We can only
hear that. Absolutely. If the president says it's insecurity, they blew the pipe. What about the other parts of the country where there is insecurity? Is the president saying that they should impose emergency rule on him? They can't, because he's a democratically elected president. Nobody can impose emergency rule on him because of the fact that there's serious insecurity in the northeast and the northwest, even in the southeast. Even in the south. So now the fact that those pipes, if they were blown, I don't know what happened in Rivers State, the fact that it happened, the governor has no responsibility, has no security responsibility. Security responsibility rests squarely on the president. So why punish a man who did not commit an offense? That's the question to ask. Why punish a man who did not commit an offense? So anyway, that's the answer to the question you raised.
But what do you think then is the impact of this move when we're looking at the democratic process in Nigeria, and what actions do you think should be taken specifically by the people of Rivers State and Nigerians in response to the president's decision?
They should resist. They should resist the president, but by democratically protesting against the president's decision. That's what they should do.
And you've seen what happened to the previous protests. Who's going to protect the citizens of Nigeria when they do that?
One day the president, one day the government will get tired. See, like I tell people, there's no way you can do anything that the elites that are benefiting from the government will allow you to do what you want to do. You just have to know that there will be sacrifices.
Yeah, but always the end result is people losing their lives. The end result is sometimes.
But has it stopped South Africans from protesting? Has it stopped South Africa from protesting?
Why then? This is your state. You were born in Rivers State. Then why are you not spearhead? Why are you not spearheading the protest? Why are you not going on the forefront and tell people let's protest against what the president is doing?
Well, I'm not in the forefront is what I've told Nigerians before. Don't forget I was at the forefront of the fight against Goodluck Jonathan. I said Nigerians are.
You still from Rivers State. This is still your state. Let's not talk about the fact the state is burning now. What are you going to do about it as Rotimi Amaechi?
Maybe you're not listening to me. I said as a governor of Rivers State, I led protests in Rivers State. I led protests. The question to ask is whether I was there or not. My question is why are Nigerians not speaking up? Why are Nigerians not coming out?
That's the question. Probably they need a leader to push them.
How? Why? In South Africa, do you need a leader?
There's always someone who comes. There's always someone who comes.
In South Africa, your labor union, your party. In Nigeria,
I'm from Zimbabwe, so I can't talk about South Africa.
I know. So when I talk about South Africa, it's because you live in
Southern Africa.
Yes, because you live in. No, I'm talking about South Africa because you've lived there too. Don't forget. So in South Africa, you see the labor union. Here, our labor union is almost dead. It's just at the end of the month they collect salaries and go home.
I've seen a lot of comments on social media, people saying, why are leaders like Amaechi waiting until this unredeemable situation, which led to the imposition of state of emergency in his own state, Rivers State?
Tell them to show me one Nigerian leader that has engaged the youth the way I have in terms of protests and all that. I led a protest from Port Harcourt to the Port Harcourt International Airport. In fact, we broke the gate as governor of the international airport and walked in because they said Buhari would not fly into Port Harcourt. I led that protest. Don't forget that I was a governor then. I led the protest. I led the protest against the police to the police IG's office, and we blocked the gate. In the attendance were Buhari, myself, Dr. Nu, and others. President Bola Tinubu was supposed to be there. He was among those who planned it with me, but he didn't come. He disappeared.
Did you ask him why at that time?
Why should I ask him why? He's an elder now. He's older than me. If I ask him, he will look as if I'm insulting him. But he was at the meeting. We agreed. He said, "Look, the way you're planning is not good. Let's plan it this way." We planned it according to what he said, and he did not show up. Him and Oshomole, they were the two people who criticized me when I was planning it, and so they included them in the committee. And on the day of the protest, they didn't show up. But I'm just forgetting whether they showed up or not. It's immaterial. What is material is that I have led protests in this country, both as a student leader between 1983 when I got into the university to 1987 when I left. Nigeria knew no rest. There were protests every day. We protested against Buhari when he was the head of state. We protested against Babangida when he was the head of state. All that was organized by me as a member of NANS, National Association of Nigerian Students.
So now you are a lawyer.
Now you are dead.
Now you are a lawyer, and you actually did write a statement and you published after the emergency rule and mentioned a violation of the Constitution. Now, for a layperson like me who's not Nigerian or who's not from Nigeria or someone who might not even know about the Constitution, can you elaborate on how this contradicts with Section 188 of the Nigerian Constitution?
First and foremost, the president reserves the right to declare state of emergency in areas of the country that have security challenges. Of course, the president has the right. Section 305, I think so, protects him, gives him that power. That section did not include the removal of a governor. If the framers of the Constitution wanted to remove governor through state of emergency, they would have included it. Now, they went to the same framers went to a separate section, Section 188, and outlined the requirements for the removal of a governor. One of those requirements included impeachment, the death of a governor, or the resignation of a governor. It did not say that the president will wake up one day and just say, look, I've removed this governor. Then it means that the opposition will not have governors, because the day the president wakes up as a person in power, he will just remove all the opposition governors and put people who are loyal to him.
But he's not the first president to do this.
The first person to do it was President Obasanjo, and he was thoroughly criticized. They tried to challenge him in court. Unfortunately, the process did not get to the end. The next person is President Goodluck Jonathan. But President Goodluck Jonathan knew the law. The Attorney General to President Goodluck Jonathan, Mohammed Bello, did the right thing. He knew what the law was and refused to advise the president to remove the governor. So Goodluck Jonathan did not remove the governor. He left the governor. In fact, not forget the governor. He left the democratic institutions as they are. The next person is President Bola Tinubu, who then infringed on the Constitution. And it's an impeachable offense because he has sworn that he will keep to the Constitution.
All right. Now, where does the National Assembly, what role does it play in this? Because they've went ahead to endorse the decision of the president across party lines. Do you have any concern with that?
No comments. No comments.
You don't want
to... Let me say what I don't want to comment. I don't want to embarrass the National Assembly. I honestly don't want to say something that will embarrass the National Assembly. I was a member of Parliament, but the National Assembly should check themselves again. They should check themselves again. Honestly, they should check themselves again so that people like us don't begin to criticize them. The National Assembly was set up by law to checkmate the executive. They should ask themselves if they are actually checkmating the executive or they are an agency of the executive. They should just ask themselves that question. I don't want to embarrass the National Assembly. Trust me, I don't want to, because I was a member of the Parliament. I've left the sacredness of the Parliament the way it is. Since I left the Rivers State Parliament as Speaker of the Rivers State House of Assembly, I have never criticized the National Assembly. And I've told all those who have passed through the National Assembly, especially those who have served as either Speaker or the Senate President, that the reason why I don't criticize them is because I was once a member of Parliament. But they should check themselves and see whether they're doing the right thing. So
you're not scared of any persecution? You're not scared of anything?
Why you
don't want to comment? I don't know.
If I could comment about the president who will use the reckless power of the executive and harm me, why can't I criticize the National Assembly? Just look, it's of no use. In fact, criticism in Nigeria is of no use because nobody listens.
Okay, you don't want to talk about the FCT minister. Let's talk about the president. Have you tried to reach out to because this is your home, about River State. Have you tried to reach out to the president?
It's difficult to see the president of Nigeria. Extremely difficult.
So you've tried, but it's difficult.
I say it is difficult to reach the president of Nigeria.
So what do you believe should be the role of other state governors in this situation?
I agree with the PDP governors that they should go to court to challenge the president. I don't know what will come out of it, honestly. Again, I don't want to discuss the judiciary, but they should ask their lawyer to file challenging the president if he has authority to remove any governor. As a lawyer, let's enrich the Nigerian jurisprudence.
Let's explore the security issues Governor Amaechi cited as reasons for the declaration of the state of emergency. What do you think then should be the measures to address the security concerns without compromising democracy?
I don't know. I'm not the president. I don't know. I'm not the president. Security in the constitution rests squarely in the decision of the president. Completely.
So maybe he knows what he's doing.
By removing the governor, how do you solve the security
situation? It is a security concern. You say on the other end, you're saying the president.
What you're saying there is that the governor was the person who blew up the pipeline.
I do not have audacity to answer to that. I'm not
exactly. So
but what if the president is intelligent?
You are wrong. The president is wrong.
So what if the president has intelligence to say that yes, the governor had a hand in it?
What intelligence will the president have that others cannot have? Tell me what intelligence that the president has that others don't have for the president to remove a governor as a solution to the insecurity in River State. Don't forget that other governors are threatened because if the president can just wake up without you breaking the law and remove you, the president is not a member of the River State House of Assembly. He's neither the speaker nor a member of the State Assembly. The president is not the governor of River State. The governor of River State has not resigned. The governor of River State has not died. Then he announces the removal. How?
So what do you think the governor
I am surprised at the Attorney General. Again, I am absolutely surprised at the Attorney General. But again, he was my lawyer, so I don't want to talk about him too.
You see, you select what you want to talk about and some things you don't. Then how do you think your state, so the solutions will be found for your state? This is River State, a state that you worked so hard for, a state that I think, was it 8 years that you were there? You did a lot of good stuff for your state and it's burning today and you say, I don't want to talk about this. I don't want to talk about this one. I don't want. Why?
Josey, the reason I say I don't want to talk about it is that, look, until Nigerians stop being docile, once Nigerians are ready, speaking won't be enough.
Okay.
Exactly.
Now there are still too many unresolved issues.
What the president should be doing is supporting the democratic institutions, not only in River State, in the country.
Right. I was even going to also
let me tell you, to show you how the current government is behaving in Nigeria. So INEC has a commission. They have a responsibility by law. Meanwhile, they're supposed to be an independent institution to conduct elections. So how do you start conducting elections by refusing the others to participate?
Okay, when it comes, that's elections now. That is elections. I understand. With elections, there's always those issues, right? But coming back to River State, there are still too many unresolved issues. For example, the lawmakers left for a different political party, the state parliament demolished by the governor, who appears to be a lone ranger in this, no commissioners.
You know why the issues are sensitive, why people like us don't want to talk? It's because the judiciary is involved.
Nigeria's former Minister of Transport and former Governor of River State, Rotimi Chibuike Amaechi, thank you so much for joining us here on DW's Africa Link podcast. Now, at the Africa Link podcast, we always look across the continent to see how the stories and issues we are dealing with play out or at times even overlap. In the capital, Abuja, residents have been monitoring the situation in River State unfold. And perhaps your guess is as good as mine. In Niger, as they call it, everyone has an opinion on virtually everything. Well, we sampled some of them.
Yes, I suspect the hands of the Minister of FCT in this state of emergency because Wike has been so very close to the president. And you know that everything done since the crisis started between Wike and the governor. Whenever the president, like the first meeting he called two of them, the resolution was in favor of Wike. So this time around, I would not be surprised if Wike had given some briefing to the president on how to deal with the situation. So I suspect that the hands of Wike is in this state of emergency. Yes, because there is no way in the constitution that it's provided that in declaring state of emergency, you should suspend the governor and the State House of Assembly. So in that sense, it is illegal because there is nothing in the law that has given the president the power to suspend the governor and the State House of Assembly.
Well, I'm not much grounded in law and all of that, but based on what everybody's been saying, it's quite illegal and it doesn't sound right. I mean, we've had states that have had worst situations, security concerns, and all of that, and nothing's been done. So the case of River State is not that bad to warrant a state of emergency.
Okay, I really think Wiki has a hand in this whole state of emergency declared in River State, in the sense that the unrest in River State, or the troubles in River State rather, began when Wike started trying to, um, have a hold of kind of control in, in governance in River State, because there's a connection between the crisis in River State and the FCT minister, because from the onset of the whole situation, it has always been back and forth of, we see whether I made him a governor or he made himself a governor. So when somebody tried to play the godfather, and you see the kind of the voice of, I think the voice of Esau and the hand of Jacob in this whole situation in River State. Okay, I'm not a lawyer, but I think it is, from my own perspective as a layman, I think from the process, how it was declared, I think what I understand, even if there was kind of a sort of state of emergency, whether the governor need to be suspended or not to be suspended, that is not even my take. My take is, why was the action taken before the National Assembly approved it? From that perspective alone, I take that makes it illegal for me personally.
It's so glaring that because he's a former governor of Rivers State, so from his previous activities and what has been going on between him and Fubara, it's glaring that he has a hand in the state of emergency in Rivers State.
Well, I don't think he's wrong. I think he did it for everywhere to be peaceful and to avoid rioting in Rivers State. And that's okay for me. Because ever since Fubara became the governor of Rivers State, Wike has been showing his power, that he is the one in charge of Rivers State, and he has been ordering how Fubara can rule Rivers State, and it's glaring that he has a stronghold on Fubara.
Okay, according to the constitution, it's stated that it's constitutional that the head of state can call for a state of emergency in a state, but I feel it's not valid, because there was no investigation concerning the pipeline explosion, and it could be a staged orchestration just to impeach Fubara, which I think is like a script or a play with Godfather and Godson play.
Those were some Nigerians expressing their opinions on what is happening in Rivers State, Nigeria. That's it for this edition of Africa Link. Remember, you are not just a listener, but a crucial part of our community, and your engagement can shape the direction of our discussions. We value your insights and encourage you to share your thoughts with us. You can find all of the Africa Link podcast episodes on Spotify and Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts from. This episode was co-produced and edited by Isaac Mugabi. My name is Josephine Mahachi. Thanks for listening. Until the next one, it's bye for now.